Welcome to the Shintaido of America podcast. Shintaido is an amazing form of health exercise and body movement practice, inspired by martial arts, a non-combative training system for mind and body invented by Japanese martial artists in the 1960s. Shintaido can be a way to open up to a deeper connection with ourselves, with our community, and with nature. In Season 1 of the podcast, I'll be reading from the book Shintaido, The Body is a Message of the Universe, by the founder of Shintaido, Hiroyuki Aoki. But before I jump into that, I have a favor to ask. Shintaido of America produces this podcast and other educational materials on a shoestring budget. There are many things you can do to help, and the most important one is that if you like this podcast, tell people about us. Share it on your social media, and give us a good rating on whatever platform you're using to listen to this. You can find links to this podcast, sign up for our email newsletter, and find many other resources at our website, www.shintaido.org. That's www.shintaido.org. Hi, welcome to Episode 2 of the Shintaido of America podcast. I'm Shintaido instructor David Franklin. As a mood or feeling, Shintaido is more religious and artistic than scientific. It is more emotional and primitive than rational, writes Shintaido's founder, Hiroyuki Aoki. It involves cooperation more than competition in its movements. But it is cooperation that emphasizes individual expression rather than passive group enjoyment. Shintaido cannot be understood by trying to pigeonhole it into traditional or popular categories such as martial arts, gymnastics, health fads, or religion. The difficulty of creating an art that overcomes barriers to mutual understanding is something Aoki understands well. Shintaido grows from the soil of Japan's ancient traditions, but it is not necessary to turn Japanese to master it. A child of the 1960s, Shintaido speaks to an international audience and invites everyone to experience movement that is not, quote, constrained by tense shoulders and clenched fists, but rather one in which our hands and bodies are open to our partner and our neighbor in a gesture of respect, forgiveness, and acceptance. Thinking about body movement this way, it is easier to see how Shintaido, although born from the masters of the samurai tradition, may be closer in spirit to master artists such as Gauguin or William Blake. Our podcast today will be like an audiobook. I'll be reading from the book Shintaido, The Body is a Message of the Universe, by the founder of Shintaido, Hiroyuki Aoki. In today's episode, Aoki introduces the art that emerged from the quest for a movement discipline that addresses the problem of being, as was described in Episode 1. Okay, ready? Here we go. Part 1. The Philosophy and History of Shintaido. Chapter 1. What is Shintaido? Shintaido is the light in the shade and the sun in the shadow. People who have been constitutionally weak and depressed from birth can discover extraordinary strength and ability through Shintaido. People who have lacked the willpower or determination to express even a tenth of their talent can grow and develop in Shintaido. People who have never been aware of their true value will realize the dignity of being. Those who are too self-conscious by nature to express their ideas will find new confidence and conviction. Those whose spirits are closed and stagnant will be inspired with a new faith and purpose. Those who have become private and isolated will be able to communicate a new joy of life to others. Those who are downtrodden or oppressed will understand that all human beings are equal before God and free to express their being. This is why we call our movement Shintaido, the new body way. As a mood or feeling, Shintaido is more religious and artistic than scientific. It is more emotional and primitive than rational. It involves cooperation more than competition in its movements, but it is a cooperation that emphasizes individual expression rather than passive group enjoyment or acquiescence. Shintaido was researched, developed, and programmed through the concerted efforts of 30 professional martial artists. It is a unique system of body movement based upon martial art expression, which begins and culminates with two basic techniques called Eiko and Tenshingoso, which will be described in detail later in this book. Shintaido cannot be understood by trying to pigeonhole it into traditional or popular categories such as martial arts, gymnastics, health fads, or religion. Instead, it should be seen as an answer to one of the deep longings of this age, as the realization of a fervently desired dream. Just as a map can show us a previously unknown road, Shintaido can be a guide in solving problems of the mind and human relationships. In a larger sense, by showing us how to move our bodies according to natural law, it can be a guide in our cosmic relationships as well. Thus, Shintaido can be considered a textbook for self-education and self-training in our lives. Although every human being is blessed with an original gift of God-given talent, we have lost our natural naivete during the course of history and cannot express this talent fully. Not only our bodies, but also our ways of thinking have been corrupted. When we start Shintaido, we must begin by first softening the hardened and distorted parts of our bodies to return the body to its natural condition. In today's environment, which is being destroyed by industrial pollution and waste in increasingly harmful cycles, we must rediscover what is natural for us through our bodies. The more you practice Shintaido, the more you will come to understand the meaning of natural. Little by little, by removing muscular stiffness through various exercises, you will find that your feelings will become calm and gentle, and that you will be able to open yourself to heaven and to the world around you. An original power, which was asleep in the deepest part of your being, will awaken, and you will discover a new, expanding sense of yourself and your life in the three-dimensional world, the true world of Shintaido. Sooner or later, every human being must face the moment of doubt when he or she must ask him or herself, "What am I? Why was I born? What is the purpose of my life?" Philosophers have traditionally tackled such problems through their philosophy, and artists through their art. The vast majority of people in this world, however, do not have readily available means or talents to answer these questions in a positive way without first resorting to self-destructive techniques or devices to develop their ideas. For these people, Shintaido is a means of examining their lives to the degree and intensity that they begin to understand their own nature and, at the same time, gain a natural sympathy for their neighbors and a stronger, more genuine love of their fellow man. When you come to Shintaido for the first time, do not be concerned with athletic ability or talent. Simply try it and continue for as long as possible. In this way, you will experience the invigorating power of Shintaido. With your own body, you will feel a new force and energy rising within you, so that everybody, young and old alike, men and women, the athletic and the unathletic, can practice Shintaido with equal enjoyment. We have created a simple and easy program accessible to all without compromising its high level of content. Shintaido is first and foremost a body movement and must be experienced with your body. In this way, you will discover a wealth of untapped talent and will begin to develop the full range of your potential and ability. Shintaido was introduced for only one reason: to help you create a new and healthier life for yourself. You've been listening to Episode 2 of the Shintaido of America podcast, a reading from the book Shintaido, The Body is a Message of the Universe, by Hiroyuki Aoki. If you enjoyed today's podcast, the most important thing you can do to help is tell people about us. Share the podcast on your social media and give us a good rating on whatever platform you're using to listen to this. Shintaido of America, the producer of this podcast, is a member-supported nonprofit organization, and there are many ways to support our truly micro-budget production of educational materials, and I really mean that. We produce a huge amount of content on volunteer power, but some things just require a few bucks in the bank. So make a donation or become a member of Shintaido of America. You can do that and also find all kinds of educational resources at our website, www.shintaido.org. That's whiskey.Sierra Hotel India November Tango Alpha India Delta Oscar Romeo Golf. You can also find us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube by searching for Shintaido of America. Our episode today was recorded and edited by me, David Franklin, with support from Sarah Baker, Connie Borden, Teresa Soldatova, Jim Sterling, the Joe Zawilski Memorial Fund, and of course, the members of Shintaido of America. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Shintaido of America podcast. I'm Shintaido instructor David Franklin. Contents of this podcast copyright Shintaido of America 2022. Shintaido, opening to life.